Well, thank you for meeting with us today. I want you to know that today there's nothing to buy. Just sit back and relax. I'm going to take about 20 minutes of your time, go through a short presentation, and at the end of the visit, if there's a need, we'll get back together and go into more detail, okay?
Okay.
All right. Well, these questions are pretty tough. There's going to be a quiz at the end, all right? These questions are about becoming totally financially independent. So here they go. When I say financial independence, what comes to your mind?
No bills, debt-free. Be able to do anything that I want to do when I want to do it.
No bills, debt-free. Being able to do anything you want to do whenever you want to do it. Now that's freedom. That's awesome. Okay. Well, if today were that day, you could do whatever you want. You're totally free. What would you be doing?
I'd be in Hawaii.
You'd be in Hawaii,
Costa
okay.
Rica.
Costa Rica.
I would just travel as much as I could.
Yeah, what would you do in Hawaii if you're in Hawaii?
Surf.
You'd surf.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Man, I can feel the mist coming up off the ocean. I can feel the water. No, I'm just kidding. And so that sounds pretty fun. So you go to Hawaii. What would you do in Costa Rica?
More sightseeing.
Yeah, sightseeing and having a good time.
Not be on a schedule. Just do whatever I want.
Do whatever you want. I love that. Just relax and enjoy it. Okay, well, if today were that day and you're financially independent, you could go do those things. How much would you have to have coming in and month out in order to pay your bills, but yet be able to do some of the things you want to do? Would it be $3,000 a month? $5,000? What would it be?
$5,000 a month.
$5,000? Okay. Okay, well listen, that's awesome. Let me ask you something. How old are you now?
35.
35. Wow, you're young. What's your date of birth?
April 8th.
Oh, cool. April 8th. That's awesome. All right, well let me ask you this. What we have next time we get back together is a product that has a patent on it. It's really neat. Matter of fact, I was a stockbroker for 15 years. Once I saw this program, I've never sold another stock since then. But these questions pertain to that. So if I could show you a place where you could put your money, where you get either low returns, medium returns, or high returns, what kind of returns would you like to have? Low, medium, or high?
High.
High returns. Now as far as risk go, would you like to have a lot of risk, moderate risk, or no risk ever?
No risk at all.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now of that $5,000 a month you could get every single month during retirement, how much of that do you want to pay to Uncle Sam in the form of taxes?
Nothing.
Zero, right?
Right.
Let me tell you what I do. Back in my office we have, well let me ask you a question first. If I could really show you a way that you could be totally financially independent, no bills, debt-free, do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it, where you could go to Hawaii or Costa Rica or anywhere else you want to go, where you'd have at least $5,000 coming every single month, where you'd have the potential for high returns, you would never have any risk, and you would never have to pay taxes. If I could show you a way that you could do all that, how much would you say, you know what, Carrie, if you could do all that, I'd put away what? What would that be?
Probably $300 to $500 a month.
Is 500 comfortable, or is 500 good for you?
Yes.
It's comfortable. And what would be a stretch? Man, Carrie, if I could really do all that, I'd find a way to do, what would that be?
Probably $750, $800.
$750, okay. And what would be easy? Oh, no matter what I could do.
Well, what I'm doing right now is about $300.
$300, okay. So let me tell you what I do. Back in our office, we have a sophisticated software that takes your information that we gather from you today, we put it in there, and it will tell us the exact date and time you can retire totally financially independent. It's going to be neat, okay? So, let me go through a short presentation with you about your money and how it works. And then we're going to gather a little bit more information if you want to, okay? All right, well, Federal Financial Group is a national company representing several institutions with assets of hundreds of billions of dollars. What we do is one thing. We help people become totally financially independent. What that means, the money that's growing in your savings account is out earning what you'd have in your business or your salary. At that point, you don't have to work. Now, you may choose to, but you don't have to. Okay? Let me ask you something. Out of 100 people that retire today, how many of those do you suppose retire totally financially independent at age 65?
20.
20? That would be cool. That would be awesome. Did you know it's only about 2 to 4 people out of 100 that retire totally financially independent? And the rest of them, they rely on charity, family, or the government. And so where do you think those people are that are not? They're still having to work in places like that?
being that they're older, probably Walmart
Yeah.
or
Exactly.
anywhere they probably could find a job.
Walmart or Wendy's or somewhere like that. Matter of fact, it's kind of sad. I walked into a Wendy's one day, and you know, when you walk through the door, you see the one doing the lobby, right? Well, this old woman's working there. I mean, she's like old too, and she's probably 80, 85, and she's working in the lobby. And you've seen the young girls with the cute little suit on and the little hat and all that kind of stuff, the Wendy's hat, and that's kind of cute. But this woman's old, all right? Anyway, I ordered me a chicken sandwich. I get ready to take a bite. Now, the corner of my eye, I see her. She's cleaning the lobby. But I see her, they've given her a putty knife. She's on her hands and knees, scraping gum off the floor. She's 80 years old. My mom's 80 years old. Can you imagine being down on your hands? I'll bet you that's not her hobby. Matter of fact, I'll bet you when she was my age, she didn't think she'd be doing that at her age, right? And the problem's getting worse because people are living longer. And so we have 7 areas that we work in to help people become totally financially independent. I want to make sure that my clients are taken care of and they don't have to go to Walmart, or McDonald's, or Wendy's. And that's where we're headed, okay? Well, box number 1 is to inspect what you expect. Now what that is understanding how to read your statements and things like that. Inspecting what you expect. I had a guy one time, it was kind of funny. He said, well, I have $100,000. I'm getting 12, 15, 18% return. Right then I thought, 12, 15, 18, I mean, that's a pretty big spread. I said, well, how much do you have in there? He says, I have about 112,000. I said, oh, well, how long have you had it in your current plan? It's a little over 10 years. I said, so how much was in there when you started? He says, about $100,000. I said, sir, $100,000 to $112,000 isn't 12, 14, 16% return. And so making sure that you understand how your money works is very important. Increasing your cash flow or managing expenses, very critical. What most people do is they get their paycheck, they pay their bills, they buy their groceries, and then if there's anything left over, they might put some away. But then what? It's right up for grabs, right? What I suggest is when you get your paycheck, pay yourself first. Pay your tithing and things like that. But pay yourself first. Then pay your bills, and then if there's anything left over, go out and have entertainment and things like that. And so that's what I would recommend there. The next one's eliminating debt. You know, people they kind of go out and get credit cards and things like that for emergencies. All of a sudden their car breaks down, the transmission goes out, and they put it on their credit card. Now an $1,800 transmission ends up costing $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 because they're paying it off their credit card on all that interest. What we suggest is you pay those credit cards off the smallest balance up to the bigger balance. So let's say you're paying $50 on a $500 balance credit. You pay that $50 in plus a little extra every single month. Once that's paid off, you roll that $50 into the next payment and you increase that. Let's say it was $50 on that one, you have $100 plus a little extra. And by doing that, you can pay it off very quickly. And so you'll want to get out of debt as quickly as you can. But what you don't want to do is hold off savings. Let's say you had enough debt that it would take you 5 years to pay that off. You don't want to hold off on saving for 5 years because it could cost you thousands and thousands of dollars if you waited for 5 years. So you want to make sure you do both at the same time. Step number 5 is protecting what you have. We recommend that you have about 10 times your annual salary. So if you make $60,000 a year, 10 times the 60 is about $600,000 in life insurance. The worst thing that can happen is the breadwinner, the person that brings money into that household, if that person dies or something happens to them, where the family's left over with nothing, the family's devastated. So it's very important that you make sure that you take care of your family in the event of something like that. Okay? Building long-term financial independence is the biggest one. Matter of fact, this is the one that people like the most. But we're going to come back to that one. I just want to touch base really quickly on estate planning. In the state of Texas, a living trust. Now, living wills aren't that expensive, but a living trust runs anywhere between $1,800 and $2,500. It can be pretty costly. What we do for $495, fully funded at your recorder's office, we have a nice little binder and put in order for you. So if something does happen to you, your family has that to take care of things. And so that's just a service that we provide. So let's go back to step 6, building long-term financial independence. There is a wealth formula. You have to have some money. I wish I had a magic wand I could just wave and poof, you're financially independent. I don't have that. I wish I did. You do have to have time. Very fortunate. You're young enough at age 35, you have plenty of time. Rate of return isn't just important, it's critical. Matter of fact, it's everything. The inflation rate right now is somewhere around 5%. Sometimes it fluctuates down to 3, sometimes up to 5, but right now it's around 5%. If the rate of return on your money is like at the bank, let's say you're at Chase Bank or something like that, and you're putting your money in a CD, if you're getting 0.065, that's less than 1%. If your inflation rate's of 5%, are you making money or losing money? You're losing money, aren't you? You're going backwards. So we want to make sure that you're outpacing inflation. Understanding taxes is one of the most important things that you can do. Taxes are going to erode many people's retirement away. Matter of fact, about 92% of all Americans have all their money in qualified plans and places where the money's growing tax deferred now, and they're getting a deduction, but sometime down the road they're going to have to pay taxes. Do you think taxes are going up or down from here?
They're going up.
Probably going up, right? And so if that does happen, these people are going to be in a world of hurt. Now my job is to make sure that we understand every one of these different things and make sure that we create wealth, and that's where we're headed, okay? All right. I'm going to skip a few pages here and go right to the Rule of 72. Now what the Rule of 72 is, it's the formula that all financial institutions use to tell you how fast your money is doubling or compounding. It's the Einstein theory of compound interest or compound evolution. Now what happens, you take your interest rate, you divide it by 72, it tells you how many years it would take for your money to double. So in this example, 4% interest rate divided into 72 is 18 years. So if you're 29 years old, 29, you have $10,000, you're 29, 18 years later at age 47, you have $20,000. 18 years after that, age 65, you have $40,000. Now people say to me all the time, if I get double 4%, that's 8%, what I'm going to do is double my $40,000. I'm going to have $80,000. But in reality, you take 8% into 72, your money will double every 9 years. Same 29-year-old, same $10,000. But now at age 65, it grows to $160,000, which is double what they thought. Now what if you could get a 12% rate of return? 12 into 72, your money doubles every 6 years. Same 29-year-old, same $10,000. But now your money grows to $640,000. That's nothing changed, right? Same 29-year-old, same $10,000. But over here, the interest rate was 4%. Here it was 12. But it cost this guy $600,000. Wow, that's a big difference, right? Now, how long would $40,000 last you during retirement?
Not even a year.
Not even a year. So you're probably going to end up at Walmart or McDonald's or Wendy's or something like that, right? And so, let me tell you about a story about a young man who was 25 years old. This was 30 years ago. He walked into the bank and he says, I want to have $1 million in 30 years. And so the bank manager says, okay, well at a 5% return, you'd have to put away $1,639 at a 5% interest rate to have $1 million in 30 years. He says, I'm only 25 years old. I can't do that. He says, well, then you better go talk to the stockbroker. So he goes out across the street and he runs onto the stockbroker. And he says that a 10% rate of return on your money, you'd have to put away right around $900 in order to have $1 million in 30 years. He says, I can't do that. I'm only 25 years old. And so he kind of hungs his head down. He's walking down the street. He's feeling bad. He decides he's not going to be able to do it. A wise man sees him and he comes up to him. Young man, why are you so discouraged? He says, well, I went into the bank. They said I need to have $1,600 a month for 30 years to have $1 million. I can't do that. I'm only 25. So I went to the stockbroker. They told me at 10%, I'd have to put away $900 in order to be a millionaire. I guess I'm not going to ever be a millionaire. So he says, young man, if you could put away $438 every single month at 10% for 10 years, but have your money grow tax deferred and pull that money out tax advantaged, you could have $1 million in 30 years. So that's pretty exciting, okay? So let me tell you what we do. I'm going to gather some more information, and then I'm going to go back to my office and put that information into the system that I told you about. When we get back together, you're going to know the exact date you can be totally financially independent, okay? So let me ask you this. What is your date of birth again? Now, are you married or single?
Single.
You're single, okay. And are you using tobacco or non-tobacco?
Non-tobacco.
Non-tobacco. All right. Now let me ask you this. Would you say that do you usually pay taxes or get a tax return?
Get a tax return.
You do? How much is it?
About $2,000.
2,000. Okay, you know something that we learned? If you take an exemption, one more exemption at your employer, you can get $50. So if you took 2 exemptions, you could get another $100. 4 is $200. So using that number we talked about of $500, we could potentially have $700. Would something like that make sense for you? If the numbers made total sense, would that be something we could use?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Now, let me ask you this. Would you say that you have more or less than $2,000 in a savings account?
More.
You have more. Okay, good. Wonderful. And let me ask you this. Right now, do you have any kind of life insurance? I mean, outside of your work, something you're paying for, like at Farmers or something like that? Okay, so no life insurance. Now, at your work, do you have anything like a 401k or an IRA, something like that? Do you have money it's going into that every single month? What would that? You do have something like that. And what would you say right now is average amount in your account right now?
Last I checked was about $40,000.
$40,000. Okay, now let me ask you this. Are you getting a match on that, and they put in $1 with your dollar? And if so, up to what? Or is there no match at all?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so I'm going to guess if you're not sure, there's no match at all, because they really talk that up big. Matter of fact, they tell you at every company meeting, well, we match your dollar, so make sure you get signed up, okay? And so you probably don't have a match. Let me ask you this, is there any other big money, like from a previous job or something like that, that's sitting in an old account, maybe an old IRA or something like that you've had from the past?
Yes.
And how much is in that?
About $50,000.
$50,000, okay. Now let me ask you something. How have you been doing on that? Where's it at right now?
Bank of America.
Bank of America.
Yeah.
How's that done for you?
I really don't know. I don't know.
Probably pretty low if you don't know, right? Do you think it's doing better than 1%?
Probably not.
Probably not. And so remember that rule of 72? If it got 1%, it would take 72 years for that money to double. If we showed you something that made absolute total sense, would you want to use some of that money over here to help us achieve your goals of financial independence? Okay, good. Well, listen, what we need to do is figure out a time to get back together, okay? We need to do it the next 24 to 48 hours. If we don't do it within the 24 to 48 hours, it's never going to happen. You're going to get busy, I'm going to get busy, it's never going to happen, okay? So the next available time I have is tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Will that work out okay for you?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Now, what I want to do is ask you this. You said that you're single right now?
Yes.
Is there anybody else that helps you make those decisions that might need to be here, like a fiance or a significant other, anybody like that? Okay, wonderful. Now, here's what you're going to owe me when we get back together. You're going to owe me a big plate of hot chocolate chip cookies and a big glass of ice cold milk. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I just thought you were being too serious there. The reason why I ask you these questions is, like I told you, we're going to go back and put that together. But I just want to do a quick review. We talked about the fact that you're pretty comfortable putting about $500 away. Is that right?
Yes.
And you said that you're getting taxes around $2,000, a little bit more maybe. So maybe we could use about $100, maybe even $200 of those dollars if it made total sense, right?
Right.
And you also said that you had a little bit of money going to 401k, but I didn't ask you, how much are you putting into that right now every month, into that 401k? Is that $50, $100?
About $100.
$100, okay. And do you know how that's doing for you? Do you know what company they have that in? Fidelity or Northwestern?
Fidelity sounds familiar.
Fidelity, okay. And so if it made total sense to maybe shift some of that money into here, would that make sense for you? Or do you feel comfortable just leaving that alone?
Well, if one's being taxed and one's not, then I definitely want to go the smarter route.
Man, you picked up on some of that stuff really quick. I love that. Okay, so that comes out to $500, $600, $700, around $800 total, including the taxes. And is that about right with what we come up with, about $800 so far? Mm-hmm. Okay, so let me ask you something. When I go back to my office and put this together, I'm going to put together 3 different portfolios. You'll be able to choose which one suits your needs the best. When we get back together, if I show you something that makes total sense and you love it, and you got to love it, when we get back together, can we do business?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. And the second question is this. If this makes total sense and you can see that this would benefit other people that you know, would you give me 3 to 5 names of people that you know that I could help them the same way we're helping you? Okay, definitely. Wonderful. All right, well, just put your little signature right there so I can get started on things for you. All right, well, wonderful. Well, it's been fun. Start baking those cookies. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Thank you.